Greetings, adventurers. Welcome to Miniature Legends, a place where even the smallest of figures can be legendary. Throughout my hobby journey, I've utilized the magic of texture rolling pins to craft a unique and detailed bases for my minis. Today, I wish to pursue something different. I want to craft a custom texture rolling pin, gaining understanding of the methods involved and unlocking that as a new tool for my arsenal. I've decided to utilize Blender, a free 3D modeling tool available online. Blender is by no means the only method for digital 3D sculpting, but it is the one I am most familiar with. Hopefully I will not have as large of a learning curve as a whole new program. Please note, this is not a comprehensive tutorial of Blender. I am by no means an expert with the software, but I know enough to explain my methods and to point you in the direction of resources that you can utilize if you wish for deeper understanding. I've linked to several wonderful tutorials for getting started with Blender below. Let's get started, shall we? I began by creating a simple repeating pattern using Krita, a free, open-source graphics software. Once that was complete, I had an idea. I could make two rollers by simply adding a damaged variant to the pattern as a new layer. I got to work drawing missing tiles, cracks, scuffs, and broken sections with my stylus. Moving to Blender, I created a plane, subdividing it so that my texture would have a higher degree of fidelity. Then, I applied the Displace modifier. This modifier distorts a mesh by a provided texture, allowing us to quickly form the pattern from the 2D drawing we did earlier. Once I was happy with the mesh, I applied the modifier, which saved the changes it had made. Then, I applied a Smooth modifier, which helps me smooth out the more jagged areas of the mesh. Next, I formed a lattice with the same X and Y dimensions as my mesh. This allows me to bend the mesh with the lattice. Once the two are linked, I was able to bend the lattice into a cylinder using a single arrow. However, this presented an issue. The mesh would not fold around the cylinder properly. To solve the issue, I used the simple deform modifier to bend the mesh the other direction, which formed the proper rolling pin texture. I applied the modifier and then moved into sculpt mode. Using my stylus and the grab random cloth brush, I was able to sculpt some random sturdy imperfections into the roller. Once I'd made the top, I created a new cylinder. Using a Boolean difference modifier, I made a hole for a dowel to be used as a handle and applied it to the mesh. Duplicating the previous steps for the other roller, I exported the two STL files and then sliced them for printing. Time to print. It seems like the rollers printed fairly well. A good amount of the sculpted textures transferred to the print. Let's give them a test, shall we? Let's use some air dry clay. Why don't I use these to make some bases? To give myself some more material knowledge, I've decided to roll these bases with green stuff, epoxy putty. I found it stuck quite strongly to the PLA and wasn't the easiest to remove, but I got some good impressions. I think I will use air dry clay in the future, as it avoids the difficult cleanup. Once the green stuff dried, I added some additional texture to the base, using some texture paint for the Rune pattern. And some watered PVA and sand for the fresh tile. I primed in black, then applied a layer of dark gray for the tile sections. a dark brown for the sand to represent dirt that is accumulated, then I applied a second coat of lighter gray onto the tile. I applied an off-white gray to the diamond inner tile to give the base a nice eye-catching pattern. Then a black wash to darken the recesses. The tiles were looking very blue, which I was enjoying, so I decided to lean into it by applying a blue wash as well. After that had dried, I applied a glaze of the base color, and then highlighted the diamond tiles with off-white. I hit the dirt with a lighter brown for the raised sections. Then applied a dry brush of light gray. Then I washed the dirt to bring down the contrast in those areas. And finally a few acrylic leaves to give the base some color. Starting again with the same black base coat. This time I painted the tiles with warm tan. Applying 2 coats for a good coverage. For the cracks in the tile, I applied a green to give the impression of moss. Then, drawing inspiration from the previous base, painted the diamond tiles with a mid-tone gray. Next, I gave the entire base a dark brown wash. Once it had dried, I applied the same wash to a few select tiles to give some variety in the intensity of color. Afterwards, I applied a glaze of the base color to brighten the tiles. Then, I applied a dark brown to the mossy sections to give the impression of mud. Highlighting the tiles with the same dark gray. I felt the glaze was too patchy, so I applied a second coat. Then, I applied an orange wash to the tile. I was looking to give some more interesting color to the beige tiled sections. Next, I applied a light, dry brush of tan. And reapplied the orange glaze to smooth out the transitions. I decided to add a flower growing through the cracks. As well as some dry lichen to act as vines. And we're done. I'd consider this project to be a success. I certainly feel capable of crafting more texture rollers and using the methods in this video in future projects. If you want to download the STL files, they are available in the description for the low price of leaving a message down below. If you want to see more of my work with miniatures, why not click on the video on the top left? I hope to see you again soon. Farewell, adventurers.